All right, I first heard this story about 12 years ago by a guy named Zig Ziglar told it. And it made such an impression on me that I immediately went out and bought a water pump. Has anybody ever seen a water pump like this before?
No.
Has anybody ever used a handheld water pump?
No.
You have? No. Anyway, made such an impression on me, I went out and bought this water pump. Now, it's been more than a decade since I've heard the story, so I'm probably going to add some of my own fisherman's embellishments here. But the gist of it was there's these two guys, they're business travelers, and they're traveling across South Alabama. Now, it's the summertime, and South Alabama in the summertime is incredibly hot and incredibly humid. They probably felt like a lot of you guys do right now. But this was back in the day before iPhones, before Instagram, before you had a 7-Eleven and a Buc-ee's on every corner. In fact, the roads were set up to where you may have a long period of time between houses, between homes, even between towns. So you couldn't just pull in and grab a big gulp. You couldn't just pull in and grab a drink. It's also the days before people had air conditioner in their cars. So these two fellas are traveling across South Alabama. It's hot, it's humid, it's the middle of summer. They don't have a big gulp to chill on, and they're starting to sweat. They kind of go on, and pretty soon they got these big pits like some of you guys have right now, you know, sweating out of their business shirts. And one of the guys turns to the other and says, man, I could really go for a big old cup of ice water, man. That would just be awesome. And then you know how the brain works. Once you start thinking about it, once you voice it, pretty soon you think you're dying of dehydration. You feel like I've got to have water right now or I ain't gonna make it. So man, these guys are just salivating, but their mouth's going dry. They're driving down the road, no air conditioning, the windows are down, but it's just blowing hot air in there, so it's not really doing a whole lot of good. Finally, they see an old farmhouse. So man, we got to pull in there. We got to see if they got water. So they pull in, they run up, they knock on the door, nobody answers. I mean, they're desperate now. There's nobody there, so they decide to walk around the back to see if someone's out back. But when they get around back, they don't see anybody. There's no vehicles. Obviously, nobody's there. All they see is an old chicken coop that's run down and what used to be a garden area that's kind of overrun with Johnson grass and weeds. And they're getting discouraged and getting ready to leave. And then one of the men spies an old handheld water pump outside the garden. And he had grown up in the city. He had never used one, but he'd seen one on movies before, so he thought it can't be that hard. So he eagerly just runs over there and he just starts pumping away, pumping away, pumping away. 30 seconds go by. No water. A minute goes by. No water. He just throws his hands up in disgust. He starts cursing the pump, cursing Alabama, cursing his partner for bringing him into Alabama in the middle of the summer with no big gulps, nothing to drink. And he's just dying. Well, his friend kind of walks over and he's kind of smiling at him. He had grown up on a farm in the Midwest and he'd used a handheld water pump. He'd used it a lot when he was growing up, and he kind of smiles at his friend. He said, look, you can't just go up to an old pump and start pumping. If it hadn't been used in a long time, it's dry. You've got to prime the pump before you can use it. Meaning you got to get some water and you got to put some water in the pump. Now that's what we've been talking about a lot over the last several weeks. Priming the pump. The idea you've got to put something in if you want to get something out. No matter what it is in life, you've got to put in your effort, your time, your energy to get the education, the knowledge, the skills, whatever it is that you're going to need to be able to get eventually what you want. So they look around over by the old chicken coop. They found an old bucket that was sitting in the corner, and it was sitting just right where the rain would run off the top of the chicken coop and would fill up the bucket. Well, they were fortunate. There was about a quarter water still in the bucket. Now, it wasn't fit to drink. It had algae growing up in it. We had mosquito larvae and all other things growing in there, so they couldn't drink it, but it was perfect for priming the pump. So they came back over, they poured it in the pump, primed it. Well, now the friend that was from the city, he wasn't about to let his friend have all the glory, especially after he was looking at him funny and making fun of him. So once they primed the pump, he gets over there and he starts pumping away. 30 seconds go by, no water. A minute goes by, no water. But he ain't gonna stop. He ain't gonna let his friend have the satisfaction. Another minute goes by, still no water. Now he feels like his arm's about to fall off. He's sweating like a stuck pig. Heart's about to explode out of his chest. Finally, he just, boom, collapses. I can't do it. Well, his friend immediately jumps over, keeps pumping. Less than 30 seconds later, water started coming out. Now, there's 3 different types of people, in case of our story, that you're going to, encounter in life. First type of person is going to say, hey, I want water. They're going to look at the pump. I know I have to prime it. I know it's going to take a lot of effort. What if there's no water down there? What if I fail? What if other people look at me? They want the water, but they will never go touch the pump. I know it sounds pretty stupid, but I promise you it's more common than you know. They'll just look at it, won't ever take action, won't ever do anything. Now the second type of person is kind that says, okay, yes, I want the water. They'll prime the pump. They'll get over there, and they'll start pumping. Some of them will be nice and easy. I don't want to work too hard. I mean, what would my friends think if I was really pumping over here like a madman? Besides, this is as hard as my teacher said I had to pump. Why should I do anything more? Mom and Dad said I didn't have to pump any harder, so why should I pump any harder? Now they're pumping. They're doing the thing they should do. They primed it, but they're not willing to actually do the work. They're not going hard enough. They'll never see the reward they're looking for because they won't ever put enough effort into it. But it will look good. They'll say later, hey, I tried, but it didn't work. I see these people all the time inside the gym, and I have for the last 15 years. They come in, hey, yeah, I tried exercise. I went 3 times a week. I did 20 minutes on the elliptical. For some reason, I'm still fat. Well, you're not working hard enough. You're not putting in enough effort. You'll have another person that'll get there, kind of like the guy from the city, and he'll be pumping like crazy, and it's primed, and he'll get right there, and he don't know how close he is to the water coming out, and he's going to stop. Now, the water could have been right there, could have been a little bit lower, who knows, but they were so close to getting where they wanted to be, but they stopped too soon. A few years ago, about 20 of us went up to Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens was a volcano that exploded in 1980. Now you can hike up on it. And I remember as we hiked it, after we've been going for several hours, you get up to about the last stretch there, and it's like walking in sand except going uphill. So it's just the ash and the sandy rock that's left over from the explosion, and you take a step up and you go half a step down. You take another step up, you go half a step down. That last little bit seems to be the hardest part of the whole trip. But there's several times you look up and you think, hey, there's the horizon, there's the top. And you get there and you realize, no, I'm still not there. You'd get over that rise and there'd be another one. Now, a lot of times we wanted to stop. Hey, this is enough. I've come way up. Yeah, I came farther than those people, so I've done pretty good. But if we'd have stopped, we would never known how close we were to actually accomplishing our goal of getting to the top. Now, the third type of person, the type of person that's going to sit here and he's going to pump like crazy, he's eventually going to get the water out. Or she's going to eventually get the water out. Now, once they get the water out, the job's not done. You can't just stop, but you don't have to work as hard to keep the water coming once you get it going. But here's where the magic lies. When you apply that type of effort, when you prime the pump, do what it takes, do the work, and you accomplish your goals, your dreams, your hopes, whatever it is that you're looking to do, just like this water, I may do all the work, but if this thing is pumping water right now, if there's an actual hooked up to a well, I'd be able to share it with all of you, right? When you accomplish your own goals and your own dreams, it's not affecting just you. It affects those around you. When you're courageous, it lends courage to those around you. When you're inspirational, it lends inspiration to those around you. Whenever you accomplish something more and you have a success, it makes other people believe that they can have that same success. So the idea is that once you get there, it's not only impacting you, it's impacting others around you, but then success breeds success. So this is kind of a small pump. I can only get a little bit of water out of this. But now I think, you know what, I've done this, maybe I'm ready for a bigger pump. So now you can look for bigger goals, bigger dreams, bigger ambitions, bigger things to accomplish, and a bigger accomplishment is going to impact more people. If you want to have a life of significance, you're going to have to accomplish big things. Not for yourself. I mean, that's great, and that's part of it, but it's the fact that you're going to impact everybody else around you who's watching you, who's feeding off of you. And that's what we need, is more people are willing to put themselves out there, not care what the teacher says, not care what their parents say, within respect, on the idea that they will sabotage you too much and not hold you accountable to what you're capable of doing. The thing is, that second person, they get pumping along, they look like they're pumping hard. Only they know if they can do more. Nobody else knows. It looks like they're doing it. You guys are showing up. Y'all are priming the pump by showing up. Some of you are just nice and comfortable. I don't want to get too far out there. I don't want to look too stupid. Some of you are willing to push it a little harder. Guys, in life, you've got to prime the pump. You've got to pump like your life depends on it. Because your quality of life in the long term will depend on it.